Welcome to the final edition of This Month in Payroll for 2020. I'm Rowan Geddes, the National Leader of PwC's Payroll Consulting Practice. And what a year it has been. I'd like to begin by applauding payroll leaders across Australia for adapting to the many changes faced throughout the year and for ensuring that everyone continued to be paid despite the challenges of a global pandemic. No matter what 2021 brings, surely it's bound to be an easier year for everyone. We're ending the year with a bang, with a lot of payroll activity. In this edition of This Month in Payroll, I'd like to discuss Touch Payroll Phase 2, employment-related matters arising out of recent state budgets, provide a status update on the Workpac appeal, and discuss the first enforceable undertaking that has applied to an employer because of the behaviours of their subcontractors. But first, Touch Payroll Phase 2. At our recent Payroll Leaders Forum, we were fortunate to have Jason Lucchese and Michael Caravas, who lead STP from the Tax Office, outline the next evolution of Touch Payroll reporting, STP Phase 2. Touch Payroll has now been in place in Australia for over 3 years and has been running smoothly for most employers. It has enabled the Tax Office to capture a large amount of income tax-related data in a far more timely manner and has provided a few smaller, but still appreciated, benefits to payroll functions. For example, no more payment summaries. STP Phase 2 promises to generate significantly more benefits to Australian payroll functions, and it is genuinely exciting. However, it is also going to require the capture and reporting of a broader range of payroll-related data. This will put focus again onto how payroll data is captured and mapped, and may even highlight areas of misinterpretation that have been embedded into payroll systems. So, what is the purpose and value of STP Phase 2? Well, there are 5 key goals. First, reduce the burden of reporting to multiple government agencies, Services Australia in particular. Second, make better use of and improve on the information already being collected. Third, improve visibility of payroll data to support the delivery of the social welfare system. Fourth, reduce manual processing. And fifth, build on the investment already made in the transition to STP. Currently, much of the data required by Services Australia is collected via the submission of manual reports, which creates work for payroll functions and generates a significant time lag between a transaction occurring and Services Australia becoming aware of it. STP Phase 2 will provide for automatic exchanges of information, making many manual and sporadic reports largely obsolete. So what is changing? First, and most importantly, the information collected through the STP report will be expanded to make the data more useful for government. Under STP Phase 1, the only remuneration number presented was the gross number. Under STP Phase 2, payrolls will now need to disaggregate the gross to show separately paid leave, allowances, overtime to help determine what should be OTE, bonuses and commissions, directors' fees, and salary sacrifice, superannuation and other. This is an important step because it captures information that Services Australia needs for its customers, which will mean that payroll functions will have less reporting to separate agencies, including, for example, child support reporting obligations. However, this is also likely to require some work by payrolls to ensure that this information is currently being mapped correctly in our payrolls. STP Phase 2 will also accommodate expanded reporting in 3 areas, which will further reduce the need for payroll functions to complete manual documentation. These are 1. Separation certificates. Instead of preparing manual separation certificates, under STP Phase 2, we will be able to report separation dates and reasons through STP. Secondly, tax file number declarations. These will be able to be lodged through STP reporting, alleviating the need to submit TFN declarations manually to the Tax Office. And thirdly, lump sum e-payments will also be able to be reported by year through STP, alleviating the need for employees to be provided with a separate letter showing the year-by-year breakdown of the period to which the lump sum e-payment relates. Finally, the STP report has been enhanced to support employers if they change software solutions mid-year by allowing for the transfer of payee year-to-date amounts from the old solution to the new solution. We don't have a date for go live on STP Phase 2 yet, and there is nothing that payroll functions need to do at the moment to get ready. The Tax Office is currently working with payroll vendors to facilitate the changes. The changes to STP are exciting as they offer a real chance for payroll functions to improve their efficiencies by removing a lot of the manual reporting that is needed by Services Australia. As the implementation date comes closer, payroll functions will need to consider the mapping of their payrolls to ensure that the new data fields required accurately show what is happening within payroll. And, in the meantime, payroll functions should ensure that they remain up to date with their payroll solutions. Of course, we will keep you updated in relation to future developments on STP Phase 2 through our payroll leader forums and this month in payroll. State budgets. The states have been releasing their annual budgets over the last few months. One of the themes has been consistent in each state, a focus on jobs. Two initiatives have been raised that are worth discussing more broadly: the New South Wales Jobs Plus program and the Victorian Secure Work pilot scheme. The New South Wales Government is seeking to encourage domestic and international businesses into New South Wales with a New South Wales Jobs Plus program. This program will offer subsidised training, provide enabling infrastructure, and fast-track business approval processes. In addition, the Jobs Plus program will offer payroll tax relief to companies. To qualify, the company needs to either relocate their head offices to New South Wales or create at least 30 new net jobs in New South Wales. Where the company does this, they will become eligible for payroll tax relief for up to a 4-year period for every new job created. The Jobs Plus program is scheduled to commence on the 15th of December 2020 and conclude on the 30th of June 2022. Like the federal government's job-making hiring credit program, which was discussed last month, the devil on this will be in the detail, a detail which has not yet been released. Until that time, we are unable to confirm to employers that they will be eligible. However, in preparation, employers should ensure that they are able to identify their existing headcount, FTE and raw numbers, and track the movement of that from specific date to date. In the Victorian Budget, they address one of the issues that PwC has identified as a key issue to be considered by employers. That issue is, how do you encourage frontline workers who are sick to remain at home to recuperate rather than coming to the workplace where they may infect others? Victoria has taken a step towards addressing this in their latest budget by proposing a new Secure Work pilot scheme, which provides up to 5 days of sick and carers pay at the national minimum wage for casual or insecure workers in priority industries. This pilot would run for 2 years and is expected to cover workers in select sectors with high rates of casualisation, such as cleaners, hospitality staff, security guards, supermarket workers and aged care staff. The pilot scheme will be fully funded by the federal government at no cost to business. However, any future ongoing scheme would be subject to an industry levy. Right now, the government is still at the consultation stage on the design of the pilot scheme, and the reaction has been mixed, with employer bodies pointing out that casuals already receive a 25% loading to cover the fact that they are not entitled to be paid for sick days. Notwithstanding this reaction, there is a need for governments to consider ways to ensure that our frontline workers are not forced to choose between earning and recuperating. Proposals such as this, and Victoria's earlier pandemic leave disaster payment, may or may not be the solution. However, they are another factors for employers to consider in the decision regarding the nature of their workforce: permanent, casual, contractor, gig. We will watch the consultation process with interest. And while we are on the topic of casuals, the High Court of Australia has granted Workpac special leave to appeal the decision in Workpac versus Rossato. In the appeal, the High Court will be considering 2 questions. 1. Was Mr. Rossato a casual employee? And 2. Should double dipping be prevented by allowing the court to set off any leave entitlements owed against the remuneration received, which includes casual loadings? The outcome of the High Court is not expected to be delivered until mid-2021. In the meantime, we are also awaiting the government's proposed industrial relations reforms, which are due to be handed down any day now. The proposal is also expected to include the strengthening of casuals' rights to allow them to convert to permanent employees after 12 months. However, all of this will take time. So, what should employers do between now and the outcome of the High Court decision? Right now, the Rossato decision represents the current legal position on the definition of casual employment in Australia. Therefore, for now, employers should have one eye to the existing decision and consider the following. First, regularly review the workforce, existing and recent recruits, to consider whether any casuals are more appropriately classified as permanent employees. Consider and apply the casual conversion clauses, which are in modern awards or enterprise agreements for long-term casuals. Ensure contracts and enterprise agreements contain a detailed definition of casual employee, and separately identify casual loading in employment contracts and payslips, and expressly state that the loading is paid in lieu of paid annual leave and other entitlements. And finally, employers should review set-off clauses in their contracts. Last month, security contractor Securecorp entered into an enforceable undertaking which is of note because it is the first FWO EU which has applied to a head contractor in relation to contracted companies in their supply chain. In this case, Securecorp paid its subcontractors, Manpower and MIS, between $24 and $27 an hour, of which $20 to $22 was passed on to their employees. The FWO investigation found that the Securecorp payment was insufficient to allow subcontractors to consistently meet their award obligations, resulting in the employees of Manpower and MIS being underpaid casual loading, penalty rates and overtime rates. As Manpower and MIS had both ceased trading, the Ombudsman required that the underpayment be paid by Securecorp on the basis that, as the head contractor, it also has an obligation to ensure workers throughout its labour supply chain receive their lawful wages. As the Ombudsman noted, the message to head contractors is clear. You can be held liable for underpayments in your supply chain if you pay inadequate prices to your contractors. Finally, a few quick payroll entitlement updates that came through in November. First, changes to unpaid parental leave entitlements. On 26th of November, the Fair Work Act was amended to include unpaid parental leave entitlements of up to 12 months for parents who experience traumatic events, being a stillbirth or the death of a child during the first 24 months of life. These parents may also be entitled to take compassionate leave while on unpaid parental leave, as may other employees if the child would have been an immediate family or household member of the employee. The changes also enable all eligible parents to access up to 30 days of their unpaid parental leave flexibly, complementing similar changes that were made to the paid parental leave scheme in July 2020. Parents who experienced premature births or other birth-related complications that result in the newborn baby having to stay in hospital or being hospitalised immediately after birth can also now agree with their employer to pause their unpaid parental leave. This means that while their baby is hospitalised, parents may return to work and the period when they are back at work won't be deducted from their unpaid parental leave. And finally, a reminder that the minimum wages in 8 modern awards was increased by 1.75% from the start of the first full pay period on or after 1st of November 2020, as decided in the annual wage review handed down in June of this year. The awards are listed on the slide and include the Food Manufacturing Award, Horticulture Award and the Broadcasting Award. And that's it for this month in payroll, and that's it for 2020. It has been a challenging year, but a year in which payroll has stood up. I hope that you have had a good year despite all of the challenges, and that, given the increased recognition of the importance of payroll, you are in a position to approach 2021 perhaps even stronger than you were at the start of this year. I look forward to starting the new year with you, and yes, I too am looking forward to saying goodbye to 2020. Our next edition will be published at the end of January. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy relaxing family time over Christmas and have a restful break to recharge for 2021. See you in the new year.